Hello, this is Hot Indonesia, where we regularly grab a screenshot of what's going on in this country. I'm Dalton Tanonaka in Jakarta. Here is this week's HI Hot List. Human cargo. What should Indonesia be doing in this Rohingya refugee crisis? Rainbow Nation. Where do we stand in the fight for gay rights? And film freedom. Why a movie in the running at Cannes can't even be screened here at home. Here beside me on this day in history is Yenny Wahid, director of the Wahid Institute, second daughter of Indonesia's fourth president, and owner of at least 100 headscarves, and all beautiful, I must say.
You're underestimating.
Underestimating, yes, okay. Sarah's out. Sitting in for her today is Nia Dinata, award-winning film director and producer and yoga queen.
Wow. Yeah.
I found that out.
Yoga. Yeah.
Okay, hot topic number one, human cargo. Waves of Rohingya refugees are rolling in off the shores of Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia. The migrants left Myanmar in search of freedom and peace, heavily persecuted in the country they called home for generations. But they are being caught between scamming traffickers and government policies. Indonesia's Navy and others were ordered at one point to turn back boats carrying the helpless passengers. Just this past week, Malaysia and Indonesia, the diplomats agreed to shelter up to 7,000 of the refugees, providing that they are already on their way, not new waves. So that means they already have to have departed. In Aceh alone, northernmost province here, more than 1,700 Rohingyas and Bangladeshis, and that's the political issue, reached our shores. Thousands more estimated to still be on the Andaman Sea between here and Myanmar. What is the answer? What is the answer for this crisis?
Well, looking at it from humanitarian point of view, I think most people would agree that we need to extend our help to these people, especially in dire position like that. And it's not a fun trip that they're enduring. I mean, they didn't go for a cruise. Yeah, cruise traveling. They're fleeing from something. It's a very difficult condition back home that really forced them to be out facing dangers out in the sea like that.
There are fights on board, people being killed on board between desperate people, so they do desperate things.
But you don't really just stop at just giving humanitarian aid to them, but also looking at the root cause of the issues. And I think what's happening in Burma now, I think the world needs to also put pressures more on the government there.
That's the political issue, and the governments have to do that. But right now, I guess what I want to focus on is the people's story. I mean, what do you do? People in rickety boats sinking and they're washing ashore. Do we turn them away?
Well,
How
actually,
can you?
They did not have a choice, and we do. We Indonesians, we have a choice, and they did not have a choice. And I agree with Yenny, because as a fellow human being, why don't we offer our hands openly to help? So I think that has to be the base. Yeah. Yes, for us Indonesians.
But of course, governments like Indonesia, and I know they kind of softened their position, are saying it's not our problem. Why do we have to burden them? We don't have the facilities.
Well,
we don't have the resources.
That's the example of, when you have a choice, you can either say that or you say that, okay, it's not our problem, even though it's not our problem, but we are going to help them because they are fellow human beings. And I think yesterday or on the 18th of May, the president already made a statement, right? That Indonesians have to treat them,
to host them for at least for a year.
For at least a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that.
But it's quite jarring, the stories. I've read stories about villagers in Aceh, in East Aceh, who actually extended their hands to help these people out in the sea and actually. Brought them to shore.
Yeah, I don't think we're questioning people-to-people contact.
Whereas the officials turn their eyes away from this.
And that's where the source of the problem is. Myanmar is saying that it's not their problem even. They said that we can't take the blame for this because you guys are wanting our cheap labor. That's why these guys are going, which is deflecting the original problem of a homeland for people who lived there for hundreds of years. And I don't think it's a religious thing. People are making this a Muslim Buddhist thing. I don't think it's. I think it's political. About statehood and stateless people. Right? They're saying that they're Bangladeshis. But they've lived there. It's like people living here for hundreds of years. You can't call them Chinese because they came from, or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's these issues of non-intervention within the Asian countries. I think it's about time that we change that policy and you know, and have more government pressuring one another if they see that something is not right within you know, within the internal borders of each countries. And this is a problem that again that's happening in Myanmar, in Burma, but it's spill over onto neighboring countries. So it has become a collective problem for all.
And a global problem. The U.S. just announced that they will take in refugees if they're repatriated there. So.
Australia has always faced this problem, both
Sure.
people from Afghanistan, from all these other countries or conflict areas. So this is a global problem.
So I think we all agree that Indonesia has to open our arms and accept these people until the decision is made whether they stay or they have to.
Well,
repatriate, right?
we've already expressed that we want to be a global player, that we have that they want to be that we're going to have more presence in regional areas, to be more active in regional issues and all that. So this is a chance to prove that.
We could be a leader. We could be a leader.
Yeah. Actually, we could be leaders, and other Southeast Asian country will follow through.
As the biggest
Hopefully,
country in ASEAN, you know, more than 3,000 refugees already on land in 3 countries, thousands more still at sea. We can't just say it's somebody else's problem. We gotta help. Okay, more Hot Indo. We'll continue shortly. Is Indonesia a rainbow nation? You're watching Hot Indonesia with Yenny, guest host Nia Dinata, and me. Here's hot topic number 2, Rainbow Nation. Rallies are regularly held in the most public of places in support of LGBTs. That stands for lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders. In the region, Indonesia is not the most accepting country, but it's not the worst. Activists say gay rights is a human rights issue. Religious leaders say homosexuality is abnormal. A Pew Research report, which is an international information gatherer, 2 years ago, found that Indonesians overwhelmingly are against acceptance of sexual, alternative sexuality, 93%. I mean, it doesn't seem that bad here.
No, not at all. I mean, look at the films that I did in 2003. It has really strong gay issue and acceptance issue, and then the film got a really good result at the box office.
Was that Arisan? Was that?
Yeah, that was Arisan, and then so that is the sign. Isn't that a sign that people are
But have we come a lot farther from 2003?
No, I think the problem is we went backwards. We went backwards, like in the treadmill, you know, we're already reaching a couple of miles, and then suddenly something wrong with the machine of the treadmill, and then back to zero.
I think the problem is that some politicians are making it as a political cause.
Or
and making it as a
platform
for morality. Yes. So that's, of course, it's a what do you call it? It's like a symbolism of morality in some people's minds that, you know, that if you support this
politics get involved, that's the problem.
But there is one also interesting fact in East Java. The family of Yenny is from East Java, right? In Malang, in 2003, there is election for a mayor of Malang. And then one of the candidates is my friend, transgender, Marilyn Sofian. And then she lost, but only like really tiny percentage. And then a year later, one of the party, PKPI, one of the political party, you know, like propose her to be the candidate for the
because of her abilities, not exploiting her.
No, but because for her abilities, also for her popularity, she speaks very good. She really does good public speaking. and has still has a lot of followers.
Now, the
yes?
Pew report also said that acceptance is wider spread in richer countries, such as the U.S., and where religion plays less of a role in people's lives. So that's why I think maybe the biggest barrier here is
What about
that
in Vatican?
Islam forbids homosexuality, right?
In Vatican, it's a rich country,
Yeah.
but it's also
Well, okay,
heavily
that's obviously heavily religious, but
influenced by religion.
Islam does forbid homosexuality, correct?
yes. And so does Roman Catholic and Christianities, and I think most religions would say that as a.
Well, richer
See
usually
that
means
as a-
developed. We're kind of a developing country. So how do you get around that, Yan? How do you get around the haram label?
It's very hard when it comes. I think the issue here in Indonesia, and I think that is what's reflected in the Pew Pew Center's research, is that when it comes to legal rights, then there is the issue. But when it comes to social acceptance, people are usually quite accepting. People are, people are cool just to hang out with, their friends, and then most people have at least or know someone who's gay, even though they might not come out. So it's socially, there's a level of acceptance. And also we've seen public figures, especially in entertainment areas,
who came out openly, and then
or you
any,
could see,
and you can see
obviously that they're gay.
Well, I mean, that's
them.
also not a good gauge, because there are people you wouldn't know who are gay because they're not openly. You can't see it.
Right. But again, when it comes to law, that's the other issue.
And then when it comes to religion as well, it depends. Of course, the strict religion, all kinds of religion, is forbid that, right? But you can not, you have to really accept the fact that in Yogyakarta there is a Islamic boarding school runs by a transgender woman. She passed away last year, I think, and then the management was, transferred to another transgender woman who wears hijab, and then who are really, accepting all kinds of students in the boarding school. It's really small. I've been there in Yogyakarta, and it's small, but it's really clean, and it's amazing because they're opening their doors to everybody who wants to study the Quran, who wants to
We've done reports on this.
Yes.
Now, Nia, you have been a very vocal supporter of LGBT rights. Why? What?
Well, I grew up with two uncles who are gay, and at night, before they went to party, they often dress as women, and my grandmother is like applauding, and then, okay, take care, bye, drive safely. So when I was little girl, I spent the nights at my grandma's house most of the weekends, and then she's just like. And I said, why, uncle, that why my uncle is wearing girls' clothes? It makes them happy. Nia, it makes them happy. So I was like, okay, it's okay. It makes my uncle happy.
Yeah, you
Value
knew someone
creation comes from home.
Yes.
personally. But even if you didn't have relatives, it's a human right. So you would
it's a
support.
human right. So I thought all my life, until I grew up in a mean high school world, I thought that everybody's like that. If you have an uncle or you have a brother who likes to dress up as a woman, it makes them happy. And then nobody would have problems with that.
Yeah.
And then, once you enter high school, it's a mean world of high school. And then you see your effeminate friend, maybe,
getting bullied
and then getting bullied and all that. And then you
Yeah.
realize, oh my God, the world is so cruel.
Okay.
Yes.
The other problem is actually how to absorb them into workplace, because this is where they find most discriminations happening to them when they apply for a normal job.
Yes.
That requires like a semblance of normalcy, the look of normalcy.
Sure.
Then
You're right. I think it's two issues: religion and laws. The laws can protect the rights. Religion, it's up to you to follow how you.
But
feel.
again, this is not in Indonesia. It doesn't carry if you engage in same-sex actions, activities. Then it's not there's no death penalty against it.
No.
Not like stricter
not like,
Islamic
yeah,
countries where
yes.
you get stoned to death. One
Or in
last,
Sri Lanka or in other countries.
one
you know,
last quick thing. You mentioned same-sex. Same-sex marriage allowed in several countries in the world, including the U.S., led by former Jakarta resident Barack Obama. Could that ever be allowed here, you think?
Well, you know, we sort of feel like it's a hush-hush
Yes,
thing. You know,
I mean, we got a long way to go, but I mean, you got to give people
it's a
hope.
long way to go. And then I think based on the facts that I gather from my LGBT friends, that's not their main goal.
Okay.
Their main goal is only to be accepted and get less, really get the equal rights for the day-to-day life.
Yeah, but if they want to marry,
Of
why
course,
not?
why not? Of
But
course.
Mary, I think it's a way off
Yeah.
because you know
Yeah.
the social mores is built on the constructions of marriage based on
So let's take little steps
heterosexuality.
to get to
Yes,
the
take
big
little
goal.
steps,
Okay,
yes.
more hot Indo is ahead. Why this film isn't allowed in Indonesian theaters.
18, 19, 20.
You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Here is hot topic number 3, film freedom.
10, 11, 12.
This short film by director Lucky Kuswandi was nominated in a prestigious category at the Cannes Film Festival in France this month. It explores relationships in very human and personal ways. But it cannot be screened in public theaters here because of graphic scenes and themes. It was shown in private settings here in Jakarta before Cannes. The last time an Indonesian film was nominated at Cannes was in 1989 for your hero, Cut Nyak Dien, and mine.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
remember that film? Okay. Because it includes graphic scenes of sexuality and homosexuality themes, that's why it couldn't be filmed there. But
Well, it's not that graphic, actually.
okay, I
It's
haven't seen it. I
not.
just saw the trailer.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not that graphic. It's just very blunt dialogues, but not graphic scene. No sexual scenes. It's a coming of age films, for heaven's sake.
Two young
Why?
men, two young
Two
men.
young men, two best friends, boys who live in a military area. One Chinese Indonesian, one Malay. Pribumi Indonesian. They're best friends, and then the military with the military force, and then the story was set during the Suharto era, so you can see how the fox exploits the tiger's might. That's the title.
Yeah.
It's an old Chinese saying, because Lucky Kuswandi, I used to mentor him as well, and she's a Chinese Indonesian, proud of his heritage, and the fox represents the repressed. The tigers represent the oppressors. And so when the fox exploits the tigers might follow what the fox wants. And then it's a very beautiful, strong, I don't know, I think it's the best Indonesian films that ever made. So
Well, that's a strong statement because you've made some very nice films yourself, and you've.
this is the best Indonesian films that ever made, and then that at least I've ever seen.
This is a short film as opposed to a feature film.
25 minutes.
And out of
yes.
1,750 short films,
Yes.
it made the short list of 10.
10, yes. And then the only
Amazing.
one from Southeast Asia.
Yeah, but still no.
Cannes,
You know what's
Critics
sad?
Week.
It shows that we are of world quality. I mean, if it's
Yes.
the best, but it cannot even pass our own national censors.
Yeah, it's really sad.
You know, ridiculous in this day and age of the internet downloads and all
I know.
that. It will reach the masses
Let's
eventually.
just put it here at the Indonesian channel. I will introduce you to Lucky Kuswandi.
We'd love to run it actually, and
Yes,
I don't
I
see
think
I
you
don't see a
should.
problem for us.
Yes.
You know, and Nia, you mentioned earlier you've pushed boundaries in your films. Adisan, you mentioned, famous for its was it the first gay kiss on screen?
Yes.
Okay, and I
In
saw that. I
Indonesian
mean, it was
film.
kind of in passing. It wasn't very
No,
passionate.
I mean, it's not that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
just a pretty
Two guys.
kissing
I know.
scene. Yes.
Because of religious influences we mentioned earlier in the show, isn't it impossible to kind of have the cinematic freedom that they have in the U.S. or other?
I think, well, with we I consider I have cinematic freedom, and then I think Lucky also. And then at the end of the day, when we finish making our films, it doesn't matter if the public commercial cinema doesn't want to screen it, because we can still screen it underground and people still come and watch it.
But wouldn't you want more people to see it? If
Of course.
But this is more than just political or social issues, but it's also commercial point of views as well.
Yes.
But that would sell, wouldn't you think?
major.
This-
It
Yeah.
would sell.
But I think some major, what do you call it, movie
Cinema outlets?
cinema outlets or cinema
Chains?
you know, they are reluctant sometimes to air controversial issues.
No,
and-
it's actually
No?
they're not.
Okay.
But the rule of their business is they have to screen something with the letter from censorship board
All right,
just
okay.
before the film starts.
Oh, I see
with
that all
the
the time.
sign of, we see that all the time.
they're not
right?
gonna do that.
And they're not. I mean, it's their rule. So if there is nothing, there's no letter of censorship in front of the film before the film starts. I mean, they're breaking the rule.
Right.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
So it's
Wasn't
really-
Brokeback Mountain screened here?
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
did they have that letter?
Yes.
And didn't they have like?
They cut a lot.
Oh, they did?
cut a lot,
'Cause
and
I saw
was
it on
like,
DVD,
oh.
'cause
I
they-
saw it. Also, I saw it. I think in Europe, and then I went back to Jakarta, and I just want to see what they cut. They
Yeah.
cut a lot.
A lot of the
a lot.
really kind of passionate kissing
Yeah,
between two
yeah.
men. Okay. Best of luck to the Fox Exploits the Tiger's Might,
Yeah,
which
tonight
may have
is the
won.
jury-
by the
jury
time this
meeting
program
tonight,
airs. So
yes.
let's see what happens. Okay.
Hopefully, Indonesia win.
Yeah.
Bismillah.
And it already won because it's nominated.
Yes.
Feedback time now, and we like hearing from you out there. Lauren posted this on our Indonesia Channel Facebook page. Wonderful channel with wonderful programs. I love Indonesia. That's what we like to hear, Lauren. Thank you for taking the time to write. If you have any feedback on what you've heard or would like to suggest a topic for us to tackle, please email us at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Indonesia Channel Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram pages. Final words, Nia.
Oh, me? Okay. Well, I would like to congratulate the 9 women who were chosen by our president, Jokowi, to be the selection panels of our corruption eradication body. And I think it's a history,
Yeah.
and it creates women power.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Bravo, President
Bravo.
Jokowi.
I hope they'll make
Bravo
good
to all
choices.
the women.
The main thing, they
Yes.
make good choices. Okay. Final words, Yenny.
We see again and again all this practice of virginity tests conducted on women by state institutions. It's a ridiculous, demeaning, and simply cruel practice. It's about time we go away with that practice.
Agree.
Okay.
Yes.
And my final words. The government, we're talking about the government a lot today. The
Yes.
government announced that it will ban e-cigarettes. E-cigarettes for health reasons. E-cigs use electronics to inhale vapor and said to be less harmful than real ones. I'm not a smoker, but health reasons, come on. What about real cigarettes? What I think this is about is protecting the tobacco industry rather than the consumer. And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. For Yenny and Nia, I'm Dalton Tanonaka. See you again next time.